Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Kyler Murray has a lot of nerve, and I mean that in a good way, because after leading the Cardinals to a stunning upset of the 49ers on Sunday, our franchise quarterback announced a new partnership with the video game franchise Call of Duty. And then he posted on social media, quote, "To the trolls who memed me into a bag, thank you." Translation, those who highlighted Murray's video game obsession and tied them to that study clause in his contract, well, you just made him a lot of money. Now, I approve of Murray's troll flogging because it shows a new level of awareness about what others are thinking of him, which I think is very important to his maturity and development, because video game consumption is the biggest non-story in sports, an affliction that affects about 85% of the athletic population, and because it confirms what I consider to be Murray's greatest strength, his self-belief, his sense of manifest destiny, that even now, after all the defeats and disappointments, he expects to be great. Unlike many young quarterbacks who struggle in the NFL, Murray has never once succumbed to the perils and the whispers of doubt. Now, some might call it delusional, but Murray's steely belief in the inevitability of his greatness is the biggest reason why I still believe he's going to get there. But I will tell you this, the new Call of Duty drops on October 25th, and you can bet the same trolls he just schooled will be very interested in how Murray plays against the Dolphins 2 days later. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
It takes all 11, but he definitely did his job back there and put some sauce on those to keep drives going and play really, really good, clean quarterback play for us. And he was really good yesterday.
Jonathan Gannon on with Burns and Gambo yesterday on Kyler Murray's great game. You had the same reaction I did. I could not help but laugh out loud when I saw that post from Kyler Murray. To all the trolls who memed me into a bag, thank you.
Right. So I read the tweet before I knew the development.
Yeah.
So I thought, memed you into a bag. What is he talking about? Is it like a cat in a bag? And then I put one and one together and came up with 10 million, whatever he's getting paid out for this gig.
The bag is money.
Right. The bag is money. And so but it is risky because if play drops.
I quote tweeted the announcement and I said, "Thank God this wasn't scheduled to be announced last week." Can you imagine if this happened after the blowout loss to the Commanders?
Oh, boy.
Like this was, I don't know if they sort of had it floating and they were waiting for a good Kyler performance and a big win.
Yeah.
Because if this would have happened after the blowout where he was just mediocre or worse.
Yep. So, and again, I do approve of him engaging. This is very Kevin Durant-like, which is good. And I don't always approve this, but in the case of Kyler Murray, one of the things that I think held him back was he was too insulated. He didn't have enough voices in his life. He didn't have enough people or outside influences in his life. Too sheltered. And I think it sort of slowed his growth and his maturity and all that kind of stuff. I like him like this. I like him keeping receipts. I've said that on any number of times. Now he's got to back this up.
But I heard he's an addict. I heard he's addicted to video games. Who told me that? Forget.
Well, listen, there's a famous quote from Kyler Murray. He did not help himself. I don't know whether it was The Athletic.
It was the New York Times before they merged with The Athletic.
Okay, yeah, because I know DeAndre Ayton had a similar situation, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come home, I get 2 hours of sleep.
I'm up, yeah, right. And that's the Kyler Murray thing was a bit different, but he basically said, I'm not the kind of guy. I don't need to do that. I'm not the kind of guy to pour myself into film work. And then, old school Joe is like, what?
Video games?
Video games?
The quote was, "I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film."
That's it.
But that again was, when was that quote from?
That was a December 2021 interview with the New York Times.
Okay. So, yeah, it raised eyebrows. Nobody wants to hear that, even if that is your philosophy as a quarterback, an individual professional athlete. nobody wants to hear it.
Right.
But it also is worth noting, and people won't bring this up as much, what he said this preseason was, I watched myself in tape from 2020, and I thought I knew what I was doing. And I look now, and I know now I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, and now the famous Kyler Murray catchphrase, "It's easy," he is now on record of saying, "This is hard, man.
Yeah.
This is way harder than I thought it was going to be." And that's an interesting kind of revelation as well.
That's maturity.
Yeah, it's maturity.
Although that's still on his Twitter account.
Well,
maybe it's time for a new.
Right.
A new bio.
I will say this, though. Listen, I will say that as of right now, after the game against the 49ers, when you put all of Kyler Murray's performances in a hopper, I don't know what a hopper is, but if
it's
yes,
the thing
it's
for like the lottery balls.
Like lottery balls.
Yeah.
If you put them all in a hopper, I think Kyler Murray's a top 10 quarterback right now in the NFL. I think he's played at that level. Listen,
I think
you know me.
He's in the conversation.
My belief started to wane after the Lions game and definitely the Commanders game.
My belief waned on Sunday. After that, again, the first drive touchdown, and he rips off a 50-yard run, and he's squawking at the fans. You're like, okay, he's back. During the course of that game, there was a lot of that. What's the phrase you use? That hangdog look, bad body language, him kind of looking annoyed on the sidelines. Maybe it was because it was 200
I'm not going to deny
degrees.
that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to deny that.
And I was like, oh no, is he regressing? But when plays needed to be
he made a bunch of them.
He did.
And so I think this was a good bounce back effort from not just the team, but from the quarterback. Everybody who needed to bounce back did so. But James Conner, Kyler Murray, Jonathan Gannon, Nick Rawlis, Drew Petzing.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair. It wasn't all Kyler Murray. It was a group effort.
It was,
and it was a group effort of a lot of those individuals, like you said, that did step up their games during the course of that contest.
Well, listen, in Kyler Murray, I don't know how many times you can say this in a Cardinal victory, but maybe this is the key. Kyler Murray wasn't their best player on Sunday. It was James Conner.
I agree with you.
You go back and you watch, as I have, you watch the game a second time. That second half from James Conner, I don't know what got into him. But I hope it stays in him. Whatever that was. And maybe it was the 49ers just awful technique and tackling and wearing down. And we speak about the 49er defense and how they're kind of more hat than cattle at this point in time. You watch him. He just was running through people like they were paper mache.
To your point from the blast on the release date of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And now it's an official partnership. It's something that's going to be watched.
Of course.
And I'm looking at it right now. So that release usually coincides the same time every year, late October, right? Mm-hmm. You know what Kyler Murray's win-loss record and starts in November is? 2-9. 13-7 in October, 2-9 in November.
Did you really have to do that?
I'm pinning that on Kingsbury.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'm there with you.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I did laugh when I saw that. It was a very, very funny response to the critics from Kyler Murray.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.